Hi and assalamu alaikum. My name is Amna and I am the founder of therapyformuslims.com. I'm also a mental health provider based in Montclair, New Jersey. I want to start off this video by validating, acknowledging, and recognizing how difficult this time is for all of us. There are a range of emotions that many of us are experiencing, the anxiety over the uncertainty, confusion, sadness, anger, there's hurt, there's pain and fear, stress about what to do, feeling like we're just, in survival mode right now, like just trying to make sure I'm managing and getting through the day. I'm saying all of this because I want to validate and I think it's important for us to validate for ourselves what we're going through and recognizing that this is hard, right? And following up that statement with self-compassion, that during this hard time, can I be self-compassionate with myself, right? And what I mean by that is not placing these unrealistic or high expectations or demands for perfection, or trying to fulfill a vision that you might have had of how you would spend this time, and then getting upset with yourself about it, right? It may not work out that way. And because there are a lot of factors that you may not be able to control, it also might be that you're still struggling to adjust with it, right? Adjust to these changes. And again, that's when self-compassion is really important. Be self-compassionate with yourself, right? This is hard. This is a stressful time, right? For those who are now working from home and homeschooling their children and taking care of their responsibilities, single parents, individuals who, are in abusive homes, and children who are in homes where, they don't have reprieve and relief, and they got that in the form of school, and that too is frightening and scary. And also for individuals who have family members who are on the front lines in their different roles, from those in custodial positions to, doctors and everyone in between, right? It's, we're processing this. And, along with processing this, I think it's important to recognize that there's also some of us may be feeling strong grief, right? Because this is a type of loss, right? We've lost like our normal routine. We've lost that sense of control that we had in our life, and it's adjusting to this new change, right? So that self-compassion, right, needs to extend into this too, right? That you know what, I know this is hard for me. This is very different. It's hard for my children. It's hard for my partner, my parents, whomever else. It's hard. And I'm going to be kind to myself, right? That I'm going to get what I can get done. And I'm not going to beat myself up for what I haven't gotten done, because what's more important is that I treat myself with love and kindness, and give myself this permission, right, to be kind to myself. And that'll extend also for parents with their children, individuals who are dealing with aging parents, and of course there are other factors that play into it, so I don't want to make it so black and white, because I don't want, I want people to also realize that it's important to continue in therapy. If you're in therapy, continue exploring everything else that's happening for you, right? But self-compassion is really big, and it's not modeled in our society. A lot of us have grown up in homes where self-compassion is not modeled. We haven't been taught that, right? And if, people are talking about, what are things that you can do during COVID that you can walk away with, there's also a lot of judgment coming with that. For example, if, you haven't learned a new skill or a new hobby or whatever else, or if you haven't learned a new language or finally done the thing that you've been wanting to do or written that book, or, that means that you don't know how to manage time, or, you're really not passionate about those things. I mean, there are a lot of these kind of judgmental statements that are being made, and, they're unfair. Because everyone handles things differently. Everyone's plate is different. There are different factors. Some people right now are struggling to get their basic needs met. To have that kind of judgment on someone is a really unfair and messed up thing to do, right? But we don't have to take that on ourselves either, right? So if you even walk away with a greater sense of self-compassion, that is amazing. And I will tell you that as a therapist, that's one of the biggest things that I work on with my clients, right? So yes, for those people who have time or who are not having to care for other individuals or who have more flexibility because they're working from home, whatever it might be, right? Great. It's great to think of what you can do new, what you can learn, right? How you can change your routine. Right? Do you want to tap back, get back into your spirituality? Do you want to, finally pick up that hobby? Do you want to reconnect with old people? Do you want to, whatever it might be that you want to do concretely, you do that, right? That's great. But it doesn't, reframing this time as what can I walk away with? When I look back at my time, at this time during COVID, what can I say I walked away with, right? It doesn't have to be something big. And by big, I mean in a sense oh, here's a new skill that I've learned, and oh, this is what I did, and I just launched my business. It doesn't have to be that. It could be learning to be self-compassionate, learning to say, I'm doing the best that I can with what I've been given, excuse me. That too is an amazing thing and a great thing to walk away with, right? So I'm saying all this because, one, I want to underscore the importance of reframing the time, what we're going through right now, right? As I'm not stuck at home as much as I'm going to walk away with something, right? I mean, we are stuck at home, and sometimes it's important to recognize it. Yeah, this sucks. I'm stuck at home. I don't want to be home, right? So you can still recognize it, and then you reframe it, right? Well, okay, I have to be home because of this and this reason, right? Because we need to flatten the curve, and social distancing is what's required. There are restrictions being put in place. But what's one thing, just one thing, that I can walk away with from this time? Being self-compassionate. Could that be it? Could it be that I go back to praying more? Could it be that I finally pick up, the practice of meditating? Or I make working out more usual? Or I actually carve out for myself a morning ritual where I wake up before everyone and I drink coffee by myself, right? With no one there, right? So figuring out what you want for yourself. And even in that process, when you're figuring that out and you're questioning, being kind again, right? It doesn't have to be something on this grand scale that's a measurable scale, right? I will argue that self-compassion is a grand thing. I mean, that's an absolutely amazing achievement, right? To learn to be self-compassionate. And absolutely worthwhile thing to walk away with, right? And so, one, the importance of reframing this, right? Two, the absolute importance of self-compassion during this time, right? And along with that, self-compassion means recognizing the sadness and the grief, and I talk more about the naming in another video. And then also holding on to hope, right? We believe in hope in Islam. We believe, in general, hope is what anchors a soul. Right? We will get through this. It may not feel like it right now. It may feel like, oh my God, I don't know how much longer I can stay indoors, right? Or, or even the pain of seeing your loved ones, right? Having to go work on the front lines. In Islam, we believe in that. We believe in optimism. We believe in hope. We believe on relying on God, right? And I'm going to have a video on that about tapping into our spirituality. But these are the few things that I want to leave you with today, right? That frame it for yourself by asking yourself, what's one thing I can that I can do during this time, that I can say I've learned, achieved, embraced. Self-compassion, a lot of self-compassion, right? And self-compassion can be one of the things that you walk away with, because I think that's important for all of us. We all need to have that skill. And being hopeful, having hope, right? Those are the things. And I also want to recommend that if you are to look for a therapist, if you are looking for a therapist right now and you're not sure, I know teletherapy can feel weird, but you might find that it works for you, even if it's every 2 weeks and you're getting support. A lot of insurance companies right now are waiving co-pays, and they're also covering telemedicine for mental health during this time, during the COVID crisis. Some insurance companies have put an end date, which I don't know, I'm guessing they might change depending on the circumstances, but some are making it indefinite based on, what happens. But find out if you want to if you want a therapist right now, look into getting one. If you go on our website, on the main page, on the menu bar, there's click on starting therapy, go down, you can read all about what therapy is, different types of mental health treatment, finding a provider. There's information on there about when, which number to call for your insurance company. When you call them, ask them specifically, are you covering telemedicine for mental health outpatient during this time, even if it's not in my plan? And what about the copays and deductibles? And ask them about that, about any cost sharing, what that looks like. And your therapist, if you find a therapist, they can help you too. You can now find a therapist by searching on our directory, which is on the homepage of therapyformuslims.com. Inshallah, we will be increasing the number of providers on there. Right now it's very limited, but inshallah our goal is to increase it. And you could also go to other websites like psychologytoday.com, filter your search by religion, Therapy Den. Those are more updated ones. Your insurance company can give you a list of providers as well. So look into that. It might be a great time to start therapy. And since you don't have to pay out of pocket. Again, it depends on the insurance company. So you have to know, for example, my understanding is that in some states are still saying for mental health, you have to pay the copay. But that's what I'm going to leave you all with. And I hope that you join me in the next video and the next ones. So there's going to be one about spirituality, connecting with nature, and processing and reframing. And I hope that you all stay safe, take care of yourself, and stay home. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Salam.